The hollowing reason the ground beneath your house is already eating itself. And in Seffner, Florida, 2013, it swallowed a man alive through his bedroom floor while his family slept 10 feet away. Nobody heard a sound. The house looked fine. And the reason it happened is not geology. It's something moving through your pipes right now. There are 3.5 million sinkholes documented across the United States alone. But that number is wrong, because sinkholes don't announce themselves. They grow in silence, sometimes for decades, eating the limestone and dolomite that sits directly beneath 1 in 5 American homes. The ground you walk on isn't solid. It's a stack of dissolved rock, hollow chambers, and water-carved tunnels, and right now, underneath your foundation, something is widening. Geologists call the process karst dissolution. But what that actually means is this: the rock your house sits on is digesting itself, and it has been since before your house was built. Before your street was paved, before anyone thought to ask what was underneath. Here's what they don't tell you when you buy a house. Limestone, the bedrock under Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Missouri, is soluble. Water moves through it, not over it, through it. Every time it rains, slightly acidic groundwater seeps down through the soil and begins dissolving the rock below. Not fast, a millimeter a year, sometimes less, but the math compounds. Over 100 years, you get a void the size of a living room. Over 200, a void the size of a city block. And those voids don't collapse slowly. They hold and hold and hold until the surface layer above them thins past a critical point. Then they don't crack, they don't warn you, they fail all at once. Engineers call it cover collapse. You'll know it by one sound, a single low boom, like something very large just exhaled. And then the ground where your house was standing simply isn't there anymore. Now here's what breaks every assumption you just made. You're probably thinking, I don't live in Florida. This isn't my problem. But sinkholes don't just form in karst country. They form wherever water meets something it can dissolve or something it can carry away. Old clay pipes under cities. Corroded storm drains beneath neighborhoods built in the 1950s. Ancient buried riverbeds that nobody mapped. In 2019, a sinkhole opened under a home in Canisteo, New York, granite country. In 2022, one opened on a Chicago residential block and pulled a car in so fast the driver didn't have time to open the door. The geology doesn't have to be limestone. The geometry just has to be wrong. And in more places than you've been told, it already is. Here's the part that should change how you look at your floors. The leading accelerant of urban sinkhole formation isn't geology. It's infrastructure age. When water mains crack, and they crack constantly, more than 240,000 times per year across the United States, they don't just leak. They erode. A pressurized pipe with a hairline fracture shoots water sideways into surrounding soil at high velocity. That water doesn't stay down, it moves outward. And as it moves, it carries soil particles with it. Sand, clay, the fine material filling the gaps between rocks, grain by grain, particle by particle, deposited somewhere downstream in the pipe network, somewhere nobody is looking. What's left is a cavity, not rock dissolved like karst, soil evacuated. Engineers call it piping failure. The void it creates is invisible from the surface until the surface becomes the void. That man in Seffner, Florida, Jeffrey Bush, didn't die because he lived on bad geology. He died because a void had been growing under his bedroom for years, possibly decades. His house had no cracks. His yard had no depressions. His foundation showed no signs. The ground gave no warning because the ground had no warning to give. The same process is happening right now under neighborhoods where nobody has thought to look. Under cities with pipes from 1962, under your street. The technology to detect these cavities exists. Ground-penetrating radar, microgravity surveys, seismic tomography. They can map what's underneath a neighborhood block by block, void by void. And in a small number of places, parts of Florida, certain sections of Pennsylvania, municipalities have started using them, but most haven't. Because the scans cost money, because the results create liability, because if a city maps what's underneath your neighborhood and finds cavities, it has to tell you. And what happens to property values when the city tells you the ground beneath the houses on your street is hollow? Nothing gets mapped. The voids grow. And the only signal most homeowners ever receive is the one that comes too late, a door that sticks, a floor that pops, a crack in the drywall that appeared overnight and nobody knows why. Here's the question nobody in local government wants you asking. If your municipality ran a ground-penetrating radar survey of your block right now, today, what would they find? Because the cities that have run these surveys don't publish the full results. They release summaries. They release risk zones. But the raw scans, the ones that show exactly which addresses sit above a void, those don't become public record. Ask yourself why. And then ask yourself what's underneath your floor.